You're about to discover that the AI chatbot you're using might be leaving you behind. Right now, millions of people are choosing between three titans of artificial intelligence, and they have no idea which one actually performs best. In the next 8 minutes, we're going to put ChatGPT, Claude, and Google Gemini head to head. And spoiler alert, the winner might surprise you. Hey there, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe because we break down the latest AI developments that actually matter to you. So here's the situation. We're living in the golden age of large language models. Every single day, there's a new AI tool promising to revolutionize your work, your creativity, your entire digital life. But which one should you actually be using? Today, we're comparing three of the most powerful AI models on the planet. We're looking at OpenAI's ChatGPT, which most of you have probably used, Anthropic's Claude, which is quietly becoming the favorite of professionals and researchers, and Google's Gemini, formerly known as Bard, which is backed by the search giant's massive resources. We're going to evaluate them on three critical dimensions: intelligence and accuracy, ease of use and accessibility, and finally, real-world practical applications. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which AI model is right for your specific needs. Let's dive in. First up, intelligence and accuracy. This is where it gets really technical, but stick with me because this matters. Let's start with ChatGPT. OpenAI released GPT-4 in March 2023, and it was genuinely a game changer. We're talking about a model trained on 1.7 trillion tokens of data. The latest version, GPT-4 Turbo, can process 128,000 tokens of context. That's roughly the length of 100,000 words. When it comes to coding, ChatGPT is absolutely phenomenal. Ask it to write Python, JavaScript, or C++, and it'll generate clean, functional code with minimal errors. But here's where it gets interesting. In standardized tests, ChatGPT scores around the 88th percentile on the bar exam and the 99th percentile on the SAT. That's genuinely impressive. However, and this is crucial, ChatGPT has a knowledge cutoff. Its training data only goes up to April 2024. So if you ask it about events after that date, you're out of luck unless you upgrade to ChatGPT Plus with web browsing. Now let's talk about Claude. This is where things get really fascinating. Anthropic, the company behind Claude, has taken a different approach. They've focused on what they call constitutional AI, a method that emphasizes safety and accuracy. Claude 3, which comes in three versions, Opus, Sonnet, and Haiku, shows something remarkable. In head-to-head comparisons on the MMLU benchmark, which tests knowledge across 57 different subjects, Claude 3 Opus actually outperforms GPT-4. We're talking about a 88.7% accuracy rate compared to GPT-4's 86.4%. But here's the real advantage. Claude's context window. The latest version can handle 200,000 tokens. That's nearly double ChatGPT's capacity. Imagine being able to upload an entire book, ask the AI questions about it, and get accurate answers. That's Claude's superpower. It's also less likely to hallucinate, which means make up false information, than most competitors. Then there's Google Gemini. And look, Google has the advantage of being the world's largest search company. They have access to more data than practically anyone else on the planet. Gemini comes in three sizes: Ultra, Pro, and Nano. The Gemini Ultra model shows strong performance on benchmarks. On the MMLU test, it scores around 90% accuracy, which actually edges out both ChatGPT and Claude. And here's something unique. Gemini is natively multimodal, which means it can process text, images, video, and audio all at once. The catch? Gemini's integration with Google services is phenomenal if you're already in the Google ecosystem. But if you're not, the standalone experience isn't quite as polished as ChatGPT or Claude. Also, Gemini's real-time web access feels more natural because, well, it's literally built on Google's search infrastructure. All right, intelligence is only part of the equation. What good is a brilliant AI if you can't actually use it? So let's talk about accessibility and user experience. ChatGPT wins this category, and it's not even close. OpenAI has spent enormous resources making sure their interface is intuitive. There's a free version available to anyone in the world, which means you can literally start using ChatGPT right now without paying a single dollar. The paid version, ChatGPT Plus, costs $20 per month in the US and gives you access to GPT-4, faster response times, and web browsing. The mobile app is smooth, the web interface is clean, and even complete beginners can figure it out in about 30 seconds. Plus, they've built integrations with other popular apps. You can use ChatGPT through plugins, and they've recently introduced GPTs, custom versions of ChatGPT that you can configure for specific tasks. Claude is also free to use, and Anthropic deserves credit for that. You can access Claude through their website at claude.ai, and there's also a Claude mobile app. The interface is clean and minimalist. Some people actually prefer it to ChatGPT because it feels less cluttered. Claude also has a $20 per month pro subscription. But here's the thing, Claude's ecosystem is smaller. You don't have as many third-party integrations. If you're trying to connect Claude to other tools you use daily like Slack, Zapier, or Notion, you'll find fewer options compared to ChatGPT. Google Gemini is integrated everywhere Google products are. If you use Gmail, Google Docs, Google Sheets, or any other Google service, you can access Gemini right there. That's incredibly convenient if you're already deep in the Google ecosystem. Plus, Gemini is available for free, though Google also offers a Gemini Advanced subscription for $20 per month. The downside, the standalone Gemini experience feels less refined than its competitors. The interface doesn't feel quite as polished, and the learning curve is a bit steeper if you're new to AI entirely. However, if you live inside Google's world, which honestly many of us do, Gemini is seamlessly accessible. Okay, so we've talked about the specs, but what actually matters is what you can do with these models in real life. Let's get practical. If you're a professional coder, ChatGPT is still your go-to. The code it generates is usually production ready. It understands complex programming paradigms. It can debug existing code faster than almost anyone you'll find on Stack Overflow, and it's genuinely useful for accelerating development. Plus, the ChatGPT code interpreter feature lets you actually execute code and see results in real time. If you're a writer, researcher, or someone who deals with large volumes of text, Claude is becoming increasingly dominant. Here's a real example. A researcher wanted to analyze the entire text of the US Constitution and hundreds of historical documents. With Claude's 200,000 token window, they could load all of it at once and ask sophisticated questions. Try doing that with ChatGPT. You'd hit the token limit immediately. Journalists have started using Claude because of its accuracy. It's less likely to make things up, which in journalism is literally the most important thing. Marketing professionals love it because it can take a huge database of product information and create personalized content recommendations. Now, Gemini's strength is different. If you need to process visual information alongside text, Gemini shines. Imagine you're a product designer. You can upload mock-ups, screenshots, and design documents. Gemini can analyze all of it, text and images simultaneously. This is something ChatGPT and Claude struggle with because they primarily excel at text. Google is also pushing Gemini into enterprise solutions through Google Workspace. Your company uses Google Docs soon, or maybe already, depending on when you're watching this, you'll have Gemini built directly into it. That's powerful for businesses because you don't have to jump between applications. For students and learners, ChatGPT is still the most popular. It's good at explaining concepts, breaking down complex topics, and creating study guides. But here's a pro tip. Claude is actually better at catching when you've misunderstood something and gently correcting you. It's more pedagogically sound. For customer service applications and businesses looking to deploy AI at scale, Gemini's integration with Google Cloud infrastructure means it's incredibly scalable. You can process millions of customer interactions without worrying about the underlying infrastructure. So which AI should you be using? Here's the honest answer. It depends. Use ChatGPT if you want the most polished experience, if you code, or if you want access to the largest ecosystem of integrations. Use Claude if you work with large documents, if accuracy and honesty matter more than flashiness, or if you're a professional researcher. Use Gemini if you're already embedded in Google's world, if you need multimodal capabilities, or if you want real-time information. Here's my recommendation. Try all three. They're all free to start. Spend a week with each one. Find which matches the way your brain works and the problems you're trying to solve. If you found this comparison helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into AI technology in the future. And drop a comment below telling me which AI model you're using and why. I genuinely read those comments and I'd love to hear about your experience. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.